Hello everybody and welcome to Castle Combe. It's a breezy September and we're here for one reason only. It is Rally Day and the place is crawling with loud engines and top talent. Ollie, I've today managed to talk to David Lapworth, the guy that helped Richard Burns and Colin McRae win their World Championships. Who have you managed to talk to?
I've been chatting to so many people, as you say, big names aplenty. Paddy Hopkirk, the man who won the Monte Carlo, that'll be 50 years ago next year, can you believe that? The last all-British crew to manage that feat. And a personal favourite, Tony Jardine, and Olympic gold medalist Amy Williams. They're promised to be the fastest crew in rallying, surely.
So we're going to be hearing from them, and also the man that we really want to hear from here is the world champion in waiting, Sébastien Ogier. We're talking to him later on. It's Rally Day. It's going to be great.
Can't wait. So we've popped across to the Mini Cooper register and skid stands to speak to one of the true legends of rallying. Paddy Hopkirk, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Now, we've just been chatting. It's 50 years next year since you won the Monte Carlo, the last all-British crew to do so.
Well, Henry Liddon was British, very British, spoke English much better than me. Yes, I didn't actually realise we were the last British crew to win it, and it was great. And I mean, rallying in those days wasn't motorsport so much as driving for your country, you know, more like Olympics. So it was front page news because we were trying to promote British beef, British butter, British products in general, British engineering. And so it was followed by the world. It was terrific. And to win it in a car that Ali Gisagoni's designed as the district nurse's car, to beat all the might of Mercedes and Ford and what have you, was terrific, yeah.
What are your sort of standout memories of the event today?
Well, the difference was that there wasn't the same technology, of course. You didn't actually know how you were doing. Nowadays, everybody knows how they're doing with the electronic clocks and what have you. But virtually, we did all these special... I started in Russia, in Minsk. I mean, and not many people went to Russia in those days. I mean, not many people go to Russia now, but... and we came through terrible snow and cold. I mean, minus 40 in Russia it was. So it was a great adventure. It was a complete adventure. And nobody knew how... When we actually got to Monte Carlo, we didn't know how we were doing until they took the start times away from the finish times and worked out the actual speeds. So it was a complete secret. And I had actually gone to bed after the rally. And a journalist called me at 4 o'clock in the morning and he said, "I think you won the rally." And I thought I was dreaming or he was drunk or something. But it worked out that way. And then we did the laps. We did all the Grand Prix circuit. We did 5 laps of that as a final stage. And, of course, Princess Grace Kelly, who had married Princess, you know, she'd become Princess Grace. She was a film star. She presented the prizes up at the palace. It was all great. American magazines, or the Beatles sent me a autographed picture and telegrams. I got a telegram from the Prime Minister, you know.
It was a time of real celebrity drivers then, a real celebrity glamorous rallying time.
Absolutely. I don't think I could handle it very well then.
You've obviously, the big difference now is as you say, the technology, the cars, the speed, obviously, but also the distances involved. You're talking about rallying across days, weeks in cases, whereas now, has some of the competition gone out of it? Is it more about flat out, whereas there it was managing the car and a team in those days?
It's changed. The technology is much more. Tires are much better. The speeds are very high. I have highest admiration for these guys. They're in flying Formula One cars, really, with a body on them that looked like an ordinary car. Our car was much nearer to what you bought out of the showroom. And there wasn't the technology, but then the mechanics and all that, I suppose, they were at the top of their job and they were very clever. We had a wonderful team, you know, and when I look back on it, right, they mightn't have been able to drive computers and what have you, but they were very clever. And you know, the preparation was very diligent. We spent a lot of time practicing. It wasn't just a chancy thing, because there were a lot of people trying to win it to sell their cars and sell their machinery.
Would you like to have a go in one of the new World Rally cars?
I've done it, scared the hell out of me.
Really? What did you think?
I found it very difficult because it's very powerful and the gear changing and all that's quite different. It's very, very good. Very good.
And finally, you're here today to support a charity, Skids, that gives opportunities to disadvantaged youngsters in motorsport.
Well, not motorsport so much. We teach them to become technicians, or what do you call them, mechanics, I suppose. And yes, it's great. It's High Wycombe, and the guys are here from Skids and teachers. And anything I sign today or do, the fund goes to them. It's good.
One of the great things about Rallyday is all these cars come away from their competitions, they come away from their museums, their private collections, and just occasionally, if you're lucky enough and you know people, you can get in one and blag a drive. And that's what I'm going to do now. We're at Rallyday. Join us after the break when we're going to be talking to the world champion himself. No, not Roy. That's Sébastien Ogier. Oh! Sébastien, when have you ever seen a rally car quite like this?
No, of course it looks quite, yeah, I've ever seen, but I never drove, and that's going to be the first time, and really interesting experience. Of course it looks really different than my Polo, but yeah, it's nice to be back, how long, 30 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. This was 1983, and I think the last generation of the long wheelbase that Audi had, so this is an antique.
Yeah, I think not really, because I'm born also in '83, so.
Oh well, then you're the perfect match.
Yeah, so same age as me, almost 30 years. Huh? So that will be a great experience to see.
Have you been told how to drive it, or do you just not need to be told how to drive it?
Of course I need. I mean, it's a lot of difference, I think, and I need some explanation because, of course, I don't want to do any damage on this nice car.
What explanation did you need? Did somebody say to you there's 3 pedals down there?
Yeah, we still have 3 or so on the actual car, but I'm sure that, of course, we need to use a bit more the clutch on this one to shift.
Yeah. Now, it's lovely to see you at Rallyday. Is this your first time?
Yeah, my first time here, and I'm happy to be here. It's a nice event, a lot of fun, and it's always nice to see this big celebration of motorsport.
There's quite a few people around the car wanting to see you. You're quite a popular fella.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, of course. I knew that in UK there was a lot of rally fun, and of course I'm very happy to be with them today and give them some picture and autograph.
And you find yourself in a very interesting position in the World Championship because you are World Champion in waiting. Were it not just for 1 point?
Yeah, let's say that we cannot say it yet, but it's almost done. It's been a very great season for us, and 3 rally to go, only 1 point missing. So let's say that should happen. Of course, I'm very pleased with that. That was my target for a few seasons now, and it's really great. I'm very proud to get it as a first season with Volkswagen.
You must be very happy that the plan has come together and it's been so good.
Yeah, and let's say that it's even more faster than we expected, because when you enter a championship with a new manufacturer, you always expect difficulties, and especially when you face strong team like Citroën, who dominate the championship for many years. But the hard effort we've done last year are paying now, and it's we are very pleased with that, and of course I'm proud of my team.
And the VW team is very, very professional, and its preparation is incredibly detailed.
Yeah, it's. Last year was very interesting. We learned a lot. Racing with the Skoda was very interesting, and we really get the benefit of it this year. Immediately at the beginning, the team was. The car was competitive, but all the mechanics, all the engineers around were also, really in the job and doing everything perfectly. So that's good.
I wish you a great day. Thank you very much for coming. Have fun with the Audi and have even more fun in France. I guess the champagne, the Moët is on ice. Hey?
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you.
So while the rain may well have made the tarmac on the circuit a little greasy, the weather conditions are perfect for the members of the all-wheel drive club to show what they can do. 400 plus horsepower, four-wheel drive, fantastic drivers. Let's take a look at some of the action. Andy, it's a breakaway from the championship this weekend to come and have some fun at Rallyday.
Yeah, weekend off. Come and see all the spectators and support the show and the club, and come have a bit of fun.
It's a chance to show just what these cars really can do without the pressure of having to set a time. You can have a real play with them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we can come and have a bit of fun, but obviously with our next round of our championship in 2 weeks' time, I don't want to be doing anything silly and damaging the car, because we've got to make sure it's all fit for that.
Yeah, speaking of that championship, you just need to finish in the top 20, I believe, to take the title. Is that a pressure off or a pressure on scenario?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, motorsport's cruel, isn't it? I mean, we just got to keep the car reliable. But yeah, you're right. We've just got to go out of this next one. We've got a big enough lead now to just circulate and come somewhere in the top 20 would do. But that's something that's easier said than done. So, but yeah, we just got to go there. We're not going to race anybody. We're just going to keep the car circulating all day and hopefully get the finish to take the overall trophy.
It's been a fantastic year for the AWDC as well. It seems from last year again a step up in the variety of car, the drivers, the level seems to have almost gone up as well.
I think so. I mean, the cars are definitely being developed, and there's a lot of work going behind the scenes. And the club's worked hard. It's been a great championship. We've had good sponsors, Brit Part, Mitchell Deaver, and Phil Potts, and obviously all the individual round sponsors. It's just gathering momentum, and it's just it is good.
So Tom Cave has interrupted his preparations for the culmination of the British Rally Championship to tell me exactly what he's going to do in the mixed conditions of Castle Combe in his DS3, because I can see it in his mind. He's thinking, what the hell am I going to do around Castle Combe? So what's the answer?
Just go and enjoy ourselves and have fun. It's we're here to entertain the crowds and see how sideways we can get the little Citroen around the racing track.
You're going to give it a go, are you?
I'm going to give it a guess shot, yeah.
Have you been around here before?
I did the event in 2010, and it was a lot of fun then. We're hoping for a bit of rain this afternoon, so make things a bit more interesting.
You like a challenge?
I do indeed, yeah.
And the Citroen's sort of perfect for this, or not? Do you need a little?
Ideally, you need four-wheel drive so you can do some nice big donuts down the paddock straight, but we'll just have to improvise. So we have to use a little bit of grass to try and encourage some sideways action.
Any notes involved in this, or is it just press it and go?
Flat out and go. Yeah. So it'd be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to have pressure off and just enjoy the driving, and yeah, it's all preparation, and it's good.
What is it about this event though that makes Tom Cave think, I've got to be here, because the crowd's here, everybody else is here? It's a bit of a meeting point, isn't it?
It is a very good meeting point, and it's a good point to show off our sponsor Morris as well. They've been a partner with us all this year, so it's a good chance to showcase the car with their name on it, and good place to showcase myself and talk and meet new people.
And the British Championship, Tom, you're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Can you win it?
Yeah, definitely can win it. We're second. Yuka's, I think he's 17 points ahead, which sounds a lot, but put it into perspective, there's 50 points left up for grabs, so there's 2 rounds to go. Rally Yorkshire next weekend. We've won that event last year, so I'm feeling confident. I'm confident enough that we say we can win it. And we'll see where that puts us going into the last round of the Sunseeker.
You get leading the British Rally Championship at this stage. It's been a fantastic year for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a perfect year, and 4 rallies, 2 wins, 2 second place, and very stable series so far, and 2 rallies left, and looking very good now.
You've demonstrated the outright pace, but also the sense and driver ability to know that sometimes second gets you the points that you need to build that championship.
Yeah, because when we start the season, it's more our aim to get the championship. Needs to sometimes to think about what you're doing, and on the Ulster Rally it's tricky conditions, and I take the more experience this kind of conditions and make the good results for that.
You were the Pirelli star driver last year. How much of a help was that in getting you to where you are now?
Definitely, it's big support for the Pirelli, and I'm really appreciated that, and also British Rally Championship. It's good. It's really good to get this kind of trophy and award, and that helps me a lot for this year, because every rally I know the rallies, and it's good experience for me.
And finally, you're here at Rallyday today. I don't know if we can expect to see you out and about, or are you just on the stand talking to people?
Yeah, we drive today and speak a little bit, understand, and it's really looking very exciting. I've never been so big rally day event so far, and I'm really excited for that.
We're at Rallyday. Join us after the break when we're going to be talking to David Lapworth. David Lapworth, Rallyday. Why? What's it all about? Why are you here?
Because it's a rally day. You know, we still, ProDrive still, our hearts in rallying. Me personally, still have a sort of soft spot for rallying. The rally people are here today, and we're showing the Mini off, so it seems like a natural thing to do.
Are you amazed every year you come just how popular the place is and the event is?
Yeah, there still seems to be that sort of popular support. You know, the WRC might have its problems, and we might be going through a tough patch, but I think you see today there's still sort of grassroots enthusiasm for rallying. We're next to a load of 1960s minis, and there's escorts and everything here, and there's a lot of enthusiasm for it.
And the people that come up and talk to you and look at the current mini, what do they say? What do they ask you?
Obviously, there's the sort of simple questions people want to know. How fast does it go, mister? But I guess what most people are probably more interested in is sort of how the technology's changed, because I guess there's an assumption these are the sort of state of the art, but on the other hand, they haven't got the hydraulics and electronics and so on that they had 5 years ago. And I guess most people kind of want to understand, so how does that work then? Are they slower? Are they, how does it all work?
So how does it work? Does it make them slower, or does it just mean that the driver's now he's got to do more?
No, I think they're definitely not slower, and they're definitely just as interesting, if not more so, to drive. I think what happens, if you look at the history of active suspension and all the technology in Formula One, in rallying, is they teach us a lot about what we would love to do, and once you've learnt those lessons, you can't unlearn them. It's relatively easy to then reverse engineer those solutions back into conventional technology. So all the things we learnt from running active diffs and fancy dampers and all that stuff, we just spent a couple of years thinking, okay, how do we reproduce this? And we did.
David, what happened to Mini? Because we all got very excited about how you were going to take the nostalgia and bring it into the modern day championship, run with the old numbers, the 37 being one of them, the whole Paddy Hopkirk thing and the 64, and then suddenly it all stopped. Why was that?
I think there was a massive amount of support in Mini for the idea of going back to motorsport. It's 50 years this year at Monte Carlo since, Paddy won Monte Carlo Rally. I think a lot of people in Mini felt that rallying fitted well with the brand. And I think the basic problem is at the very, very top in BMW board. People had a different view about, where BMW as a whole group should be involved in motorsport, and how they would promote each brand. And I think there was a bit of a change of heart at that level. What the factors in that are, you'll get a different answer to everyone.
We'll never find out.
You will never find out.
No. And as you're doing very well with difficult questions, when will Britain have a British driver challenging at the top championship in the World Championship again, the way that you had with Colin and with Richard? Will that day ever come again?
Oh, I'm sure it will come again. When? That's a difficult one to answer. There's two parts to getting to be a world champion. One is the talent and all those things, and the other is things falling into place that allow you to do that. And Colin and Richard probably wouldn't have got to be world champions if some of the top teams in the world weren't based in the UK, didn't speak English, they didn't get that sort of natural advantage. You see it in F1,
So now you've got to be either French or German, because in rallying it's gone to the continent.
Or whoever's next. Yeah. But ourselves, Malcolm, M Sport, we hope that we'll still be around the WRC and running competitive cars in the future. Who knows when and how and all the rest. And those times will come. And the genuinely talented guys will impress VW or Citroën or Hyundai or whoever it is as well. But it's difficult to say when that's going to happen. And it'd be interesting to get to sort of do a rolling 5-year predictor, wouldn't it? About we were just having a conversation, weren't we?
No, because we used to do that in the old days.
No, but we were just having a conversation about how one day 10 years ago now, we got very close to signing Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah.
And
think how the world would have changed, the entire sport would have changed if Subaru had signed Sebastian Loeb, in 2003?
2003, I think it was, yeah. And two parts of that story, yes, how it would have changed the world, and how in 2003 we all knew that Sebastian was looking like the best driver in the world, but nobody, I don't think, really appreciated just quite what we'd got on our hands. So
you went to meet him?
I went to meet him and we had discussions, and there were contracts and salary. Yeah,
so we had the contract, all the figures, all the terms.
It could have happened. I mean, only Sebastian knows, whether it was serious. But what the point I'm saying is that, when Sebastian first came into the WRC, it was a sort of bolt in the blue. And even, a year or two on, everybody recognised this guy was, going somewhere. I don't think anybody realised the sort of era of dominance we were going into. So, trying to predict who the next one is, it's not too bad from the group that are there. The guys that are competing currently in the WRC, but that doesn't involve the guy you're talking about, the next Colin McRae or the next Richard Burns.
Well, let's hope so. And David, thanks for talking to us.
Pleasure.
This is the beauty of Rallyday. You never quite know who you're going to find. And Amy Williams and Tony Jardine here with me. It's possibly rallying's dream team, this, Tony. Experienced driver and someone who absolutely loves speed.
I think from my perspective it's the dream team, because it's great having not just a gold medalist alongside me, but someone who's cool and competent and great to get on with. But Amy might have a different view from that.
But you're a dab hand at this now. You should be calming and experienced in the stages.
Honestly, Amy on the first rally was calm, cool and collected, and by stage 3 she was reading the notes the way I like them, which was very, very impressive indeed. I hope I'm bringing sufficient experience to it. It's going to be something like my 15th or 16th Wales Rally GB, or formerly RAC, and as some people know, I've rallied in the Swedish WRC, I've done Monte Carlo, I've done Norway. I'm not always crashed, so it's been all right.
It's always a bonus.
It's always a bonus. But no, the chemistry so far is very good, which is vital, as you know, when you're working in such close proximity and spending a lot of time together, not just in the car, but on recce and organisation of the rally. I feel, but you'll have to ask Amy this, I feel that she's got the rally bug.
Well, Amy, that is the question. Have you got the rally bug? You've gone from high speed downhill on the ice to high speed, hopefully not too far downhill in the rally cars. How are you finding it?
I'm loving it. You know, I've only been to one rally. We've only done one so far. But even being here today with all the cars around me, you know, it's a completely new world and new sport for me, but I really enjoy it. And yes, I think I could definitely get the bug of the rally.
Well, is it the speed, obviously, is such an attraction. And I'm a co-driver myself, so keeping up with the notes, I know. How are you finding the transition?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the speed is no big deal. You know, I've been used to flying down at 80, 90 miles per hour for the last 10 years of my life on a skeleton sled. So putting it into a car, obviously it is different, but I think the positive thing is that it doesn't shock me. I can keep that clear, level head. I feel very calm sat in the car. Very different, I guess, for someone else to be driving rather than me being in control. But like Tony said, you know, we get on really well, and it's just me learning about the pace notes, learning the technique, trying to get tips from everyone that I meet. And yeah, it's new and it's a challenge, and I really enjoy that.
We saw you out on a league of their own, practicing your stuff out there, and yeah, you seem to take to it straight away. When can we next expect to see you out?
Well, we are competing in Yorkshire at the end of this month, so that'll be the next rally. And yeah, I mean, the main aim is to get to Rally GB in Wales, so that's what we're aiming for me to get my international co-driving licence. And then who knows after that? You know, it's an open book, and it would be a waste if I didn't, if I didn't continue somehow. And I definitely get that buzz and the adrenaline and that new thrill that I need to find now, having, not doing skeleton anymore.
Is this going to be a one-off, or can you see this being a partnership for the long term and the future with, as you say, Amy taking to it so quickly?
I think what it does is it really dovetails very, very well with Amy's commitments to the Winter Olympics for the BBC. She'll be working on Ski Sunday, etc. So I'll let her get over all of that. Hopefully we'll have had a good result on Wales Rally GB by then. And then I'll come back surreptitiously slowly and say, hey, what about doing... I'm targeting a nice tarmac rally where we can get a really fast piece of kit out on the slick tyres and show what it's like at that sort of speed. Because these challenges I keep getting her from it's not fast enough. Her and her skeleton sled, skeleton bobsleigh, where she does do 80, 90 mile an hour, I'm going to have to speed up.
The pressure really is on.
The pressure is on, and I also get the feeling at the end of the first rally that she was starting to get assertive, and I reckon that by the time of Wales Rally GB she's going to start pushing me hard, I think.
Well, Tony, Amy, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Evans and Evans, the finest rallying father and son combination to come out of mid-Wales. I'm right there, aren't I?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Elfyn, let's start with you. Why come to Rallyday?
We're here today with a Fiesta World Rally Car to put a good show on for the fans. Come here to, put a bit of a show on and bring the sport closer to the fans.
Gwyndaf, what it is about Rallyday?
Well, I go back many years. I've been come here for many years, and obviously Brian Stubbins in his memory. I don't know. It's very, very close. You'll never get so close to the fans, and it's their day at the end of the day. And it's I feel it's a little bit of putting something back to the sport,
And Elfyn, this season you've been competing in the World Championship in WRC2. Are you as good as your dad?
I'd like to hope so. But really, I'm just concentrating on doing the best I can, to be honest. Really focused on hopefully achieving, right to the top of the WRC. That's what we're aiming for, and trying to work as hard as we can to achieve that.
What do you have to do then to get into the WRC itself?
It's a combination of a lot of things. Ultimately, the funding required to fund it yourself is so large. The only way I can really do it is through sponsors or by being picked up by a team. So I'm currently working with M Sport at the minute in the WRC2 program. I hope that my performances will be good enough to bring me into one day a World Rally Car.
And Gwyndaf, what's the difference between the Fiesta that Elfyn will drive and the cars that you used to drive?
Well, obviously, I think the biggest thing is the suspension. The suspension and the tyres have come on so rapidly in the last few years. Power-wise, I don't think it's changed a lot. I mean, we had cars that had probably more power, but the technology in the materials, the technology in the suspension and the chassis and the differentials, what have you, they've come on in leaps and bounds.
And Elfyn, what's it like having your old man on the phone all the time, asking you whether you've put in that fastest stage time, asking whether you're looking after the car? Is he an utter pain in the rear end?
No, to be fair, it's...
Now, come on, let's have the truth.
I have to give him credit where it's due.
No one's listening, Elfyn, it's just us.
I have to give him credit where it's due. It's really helpful to have somebody who's been through it, had the experience of competing at that level, and just to have an outside view sometimes, it's really handy to have there.
Gwyndaf, final question to you. When are we going to get a Brit in the World Rally Championship challenging for the championships itself, do you think?
Well, I don't think we're a million miles away, to be honest, and I'm obviously slightly biased, but if you look at Elfyn's performance in the last 2 years, he was World Academy champion last year, and this year he's 12th in the World Championship, having only done 3 or 4 events, and only in WRC 2 car. So the ingredients are there, and just hope Britain and everybody will go behind him, and obviously we can get the commercial deal together to get him in and get him to have the full programme for next year, which is our aim.
I wish you the best of luck. Gwyndaf Elfyn, thank you for talking to us.
Thanks a lot.
John, I think the word iconic is bounded about a bit too much, but it's fairly safe to say it's an iconic car.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the car is the star. It's all about the historic vehicles, not the people who own them, people who restore them. At the end of the day, the buck stops with the actual car itself. And the preservation of the history of rally sport is incredibly important. And what's fantastic about Rallyday is they understand that and preserve it and celebrate it as well. Rallyday is a fun day for everybody, where you can get out of the situation with modern rallying, where the service areas are not like they used to be in the 80s and 90s, where you could get up close to the cars. It's very clinical now. So Rallyday fills a gap because drivers can meet the public can get really up close to the vehicles and the drivers and get autographs and so on. So it really does fill a niche, and it's a great day out for everybody. And thankfully we've been blessed with good weather most years, although it is quite interesting out on the track when it is wet. I've had a couple of oops moments out there myself, so I can't really comment.
How important is it that cars like these don't stay in museums, that they come out, that the people can smell, touch, experience, hear the power, because that's what they were designed to do?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no point in having a museum piece of a car because it's not saying anything when it's parked up and just on static display. It's lovely to see them in great condition and in collections, but unless they're out strutting the stuff and making the right noises and burning fuels unashamedly, Group B style from the 80s, it isn't the same experience for people. And when you've got a generation of, or 2 generations, 3 generations even, of people now who didn't see these cars in action, it's a unique opportunity for them to get up close and experience that. So then it means something next time they do see one on static display. They know how it sounds and they know how it roars and it belches fire out the back and launches itself off the start line. It's a good experience for them. And I think if the sport has to have longevity, we need to create an understanding and encourage an enthusiastic following of these historic cars. So that's another way that Rallyday is a very successful event.
And finally, we put the GoPro cameras on the car, and every time we see one leave, we think, oh, please bring that camera back, it's worth X amount of money, and it's on the car. Yep. You put someone else in your cars sometimes and say, is it the same thing? Is it, oh, please bring that back in one?
Yeah, naturally, there's a tendency for me to worry like an expectant father waiting for one of the kids to return home. But when you've got a consummate professional like Sébastien Ogier behind the wheel, within a couple of minutes of chatting to him, I was reassured that, this is a guy's cream of the cream. He's going all the way in the World Rally Championship. And there's a reason for that, because he is professional in his approach. He wants to know about the car before he tackles the job in hand. He needs the information. He's asking a lot of questions. And we were having a great dialogue about how he feels about the history of rally sport, and when he understands and states, I'm the same age as this car. He's 30 years old this year, and of course this car is 1983. In the year he was born, this car was manufactured. So there's also a lot of respect for it, because he understands that this is a piece of history and not just a machine. A modern rally car built in a workshop, it's a tool to do a job. That's fine, we understand that. This was a tool built to do the job in 1983, but now it's a piece of rallying history and should be preserved, shown off, driven properly, driven hard, and let people see what these cars were like.
Nicky, I'm not being funny, but when we were stood over by the start of the stage, a few people were leaning in the car going, is that Nicky Grish driving the Impreza? Surely you should have been in the other seat.
I should have been, but I had the opportunity, and Martin Spiro from Autosportif has bought that car, has done a wonderful job on rebuilding it back to the day that Colin and I won the RAC with, or the Network Q, or Wales Rally GB, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, to have the opportunity to do it was fine. I was a little concerned. I didn't want to make myself look an idiot, but I think I managed okay for a co-driver anyway.
I'd say you did better than okay, to be fair to you. And what memories did that bring back for you? There must have been some strange emotions getting back in that car.
Oh, there was. And I mean, you can see the car was very much a Colin McRae type car. I mean, it was quite light on the back end, but it was very predictable, and I could see why Colin could be so flamboyant and so fast with that car. You know, I think the whole WRC Subaru, that was the first one. I think it's the best looking WRC car there's ever been. And Colin could extract out of that more than anybody. And I can see why now. It just felt wonderful out there. And, you know, we had some great times in it. The first year, we won 6 rallies with that Subaru rally car. And, yeah, certainly brings back a lot of memories.
Now, you organise a rally. You've now had a go at driving a car like that. Surely 2 and 2 together means that you'll be putting an entry in your own rally and I'll be interviewing you in the car next year.
I wouldn't like to say that, no. At the end of the day, I think it's fair to say driving a rally car on a tarmac race circuit is one thing. Setting me loose with that in a proper forest with ditches and trees, I think that could be dangerous. But I did enjoy the experience, and perhaps if I have the opportunity again, I'll take it with both hands.
Ollie, I remember saying that one of the best things about Rallyday was just how close you got to the cars, but I didn't realise it was going to be quite this close.
We're certainly close enough by far, but we've known for a while the best place to get close to all the motorsports action is right here on Special Stage.
I love the way you work, Ollie. Wasn't that Mitsubishi?
I think it was.
See you next time.